They are rioting about a grown man's death, and I understand, I get it, but it seems justified in a lot of people's eyes that they go tear up their own city, tear up their own facilities, and burn things to the ground. Like, I get it. But why is it that there is never a protest? There is never a march. There is never a countrywide gathering for the children who are being murdered by their parents, by the boyfriends, by the girlfriends, by the grandmas, by the aunts. Needlessly, kids who are being shot in drive-bys, being targeted because somebody else is mad at the parents. There is no national outrage about children dying. And here's the reason why I say that. Because, in my opinion, and I don't want y'all to get mad at me, but in my opinion, somebody who was in their 20s and their 30s and 40s has at least gotten an opportunity to see life and live life and potentially be a parent. But what about these 3-month-old babies, 4-month-old babies, 2 and 3-year-old babies, 5 and 6-year-old babies who can't speak for themselves? They can't defend themselves. Most of them haven't even started school yet. Most of them are still being potty trained. Most of them are still learning to speak in sentences and words and comprehension. Children who have not seen a lick of life. And here's what I want to say before I even start this story. I think it is absolutely asinine for us to just overlook all of these children who are being murdered each and every day. Even with this particular story, this little girl is a special needs child. 4 years old, a special needs child, meaning that this child not only already was too small to be able to speak and defend themselves and to be able to feed themselves and clothe themselves, but also had a disability that they need even further assistance. But there's no national outrage when you hear about these children who end up in a lake and they were in the custody of somebody who should not have had custody of them. And you hear about this story and I was like, this can't be real. I thought this was like some type of tabloid story. And I looked it up and lo and behold, these people were in court. They have court and trial coming up. These people, I just got to tell y'all the story. A South Carolina mother is accused of murdering her young daughter who has special needs and stuffing her body inside a bedroom dresser drawer. That woman. Her name is Jacqueline Mullen. On the left-hand side, she is 23 years old, and another person who was arrested was her boyfriend. And it's so funny how each and every time we always have a biological mother and a boyfriend. That's why we have things like momsboyfriend.com, websites that are dedicated to this particular narrative just because it happens so often and it's egregious. Why is it that there's so many fathers out there that are having to fight for custody of their children? Fight to see their children. Fight to pay child support for their children. Just to spend a weekend or two per month with their children, but you let some raggedy ass bum into your life with your kids and he gets to have unfettered access to these kids. Don't y'all think that's just a little bit unfair? Don't y'all think that we should be out protesting about that? Don't y'all think that we should be burning up a McDonald's over this? Jacqueline McMullen, age 23, and her boyfriend, Adrevius Williams. Guys, I am not joking about this name. Right there, look at that on the screen. Adrevious. Adrevius? Audrevious. So instead of letting your baby's biological father have this kid or spend time with this kid, she probably prevented the biological father from seeing this kid. You let your special needs daughter be around a man by the name of Audrevious? I've never even heard of such a stupid ass name. I'm sorry, but it's a stupid name. Audrevious Williams is 26 years old, and that was her boyfriend. This ignorant bride's boyfriend. But anyway, her boyfriend were arrested Wednesday morning and charged with the death of baby India Martin, who was 4 years old. I could not find a single picture of her, but nonetheless, India Martin is the 4-year-old special needs girl. Rock Hill Police Lieutenant Michael Chavez told the Rock Hill Herald. That's a lot of alliteration. They face charges of homicide by child abuse, which carries a potential life sentence in South Carolina. Bookmark that. We'll come back to that. Life sentence potentially. Police said that they were first called to Jacqueline Mullins' house, who was the mother, late Tuesday for a report of a potential child fatality. The couple first told authorities that Martin was in the North Carolina with family. They said that the 4-year-old baby was in North Carolina with family, but investigating officers said that they determined that that was a lie and performed a search of the house after obtaining a search warrant. And ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry about my allergies. I know this is very unprofessional, but I am allergic to bullshit, so y'all gotta forgive me. I'm allergic to bullshit, and there's a lot of bullshit going on up in here, all right? Officers said that they found the 4-year-old girl, India's body, inside a bedroom dresser. So one would have to think, how long was this 4-year-old girl dead inside of a dresser, inside of a house, which is going to emit a smell? It is probably one of the most distinctive and definitely one of the strongest, most pungent smells that you could smell in life. This story has got my allergies acting all bad. We found this child dead, stuffed in a dresser drawer. Rock Hill Police Detective Keenan McCrory said in a court Wednesday, according to the Herald. Mullen showed no emotion. Her face looked just like that. The biological mother showed no emotion during the investigation or when her daughter's body was found by police detectives. Police noted that the 4-year-old girl, India, was a special needs and disabled child, according to the Associated Press. The couple had lied about India's whereabouts to cops earlier in the investigation and claimed that the 4-year-old girl was staying with family in North Carolina, according to McCrory, which we found out that was complete bullcrap. All right? Now, Mullins and Williams, the mother and boyfriend, were silent about the details of their case in court on Wednesday. And if y'all want to see that video, I'll show you guys how their demeanor was in court. No cause of death was released, but the little girl showed signs of trauma from beating and respiratory distress. This 4-year-old disabled girl showed signs of trauma from beating and respiratory distress, meaning she was probably beat up and choked to death. Further details surrounding the girl's death, like her exact time of death, have not been disclosed to the public yet. Neither the mom or boyfriend spoke in court Wednesday afternoon, and they were assigned public defenders, according to the Herald. The couple also have children together. So for the people who are wondering, is he the biological father of this kid? The answer is no, but they do have a child or children together. But the judge barred them from seeing the surviving children and also denied their bond. That's a good thing. Both the mother and boyfriend are currently being held at the Rock Hill Detention Center, according to review of online jail records. Now, here's where the story gets crazy. Are you guys ready for this? I'm going to do my best not to sneeze through this because this story's got my allergies all bad right now. Here's where we're going to talk about the mom. I want y'all to look at this. Your mothers can never do anything wrong, right? Well, Mullen and Williams also have a 1-year-old child. Mullen has another child age 4, and Williams has a 7-year-old. Okay? Hope y'all caught that. It's unclear whether the couple had an attorney who would comment on their behalf, but here's where we start to talk about this mom, and I'm going to tell you guys something. When I read y'all this, y'all are going to wonder, how does she even have custody of these kids at all? Ready? Here we go. The mother, let me get her name up here again, Kathleen Mullen, pled guilty in 2017 to felony child neglect after she gave birth to a premature baby that tested positive for cocaine in 2016. Cocaine found in the baby's system. And you wonder why this child ended up with special needs. Now, do y'all want to hear what her sentencing was for having cocaine and for causing her daughter to have a birth defect? She received 2 years probation. Son of a gun. Y'all hear that? 2 years probation. And this is the same child that she's charged with killing. But that's not it. Are y'all ready for some more? Kathleen Mullen also has a 2014 conviction for larceny. Stealing. But wait, guys, there's more. Are you ready for some more? She also, on Tuesday, pled guilty to forgery, and she was sentenced to 18 months probation. Got 18 months probation, not only for forgery, but she also had a 2014 conviction for larceny, which means that she already proven herself to be a criminal. And on top of that, after that, in 2016, tested positive for cocaine in her baby's system. And she pled guilty to felony child neglect in 2017 because of that. And guess what she got? 2 years probation, not prison. And they let her keep the kid. Why are we not protesting? Why are we not out in the street marching for this? What's funny is it seems like we only get upset about things that we are told to get upset about. Do you guys catch what I'm saying? It seems like when the media puts something out there or people get enraged about something, they tend to spread it like wildfire and say, hey guys, this is what you should be mad about. Right? This is what you should be tearing up the streets for. Y'all haven't noticed that? What I like to call propaganda, that's media propaganda. If you guys look up the terminology for propaganda, that's exactly what propaganda does. But why is it that they don't tear up the streets for babies like Tyshawn Lee, for babies like Anaya Day Garrett, for babies like Tanasia McLeod, for babies like... What about India Martin? A special needs child, one of the most defenseless people in the world, is a child who is this small and has special needs. This child depended on her mother for everything. Everything? everything. This baby needed her mother for everything. Eat, use the bathroom, which is like most kids. But in this case, they needed a bit more attention. But we don't hear no riots about this. We're not outraged about this. I don't see people with their camera phones out in the middle of the street, out protesting in front of Rock Hill Jail over this, over another mother and her boyfriend. The judge, Jane Motla, denied bail to the couple and said in court that the police accused the abusive mom of being India's caregiver at the time of the girl's death. So this mom was able to do all of this stuff and still got to keep custody of the kid, but we're not going to be mad about that. I know the AFC is mad. Let me give credit to my chat real quick. Let me do that. Let me give credit to the people that are here. The 300 people who are here, I believe that you guys care enough. But what about the rest of the world, though? We're going to continue to just let this happen, right? There is absolutely no way that this mother can test positive for cocaine, be found in this baby's system, and this mother get to keep the kid? Really? But no trial date has been set due to the ongoing concerns about this virus pandemic or plandemic, whatever you want to call it, that has resulted in all York County jury trials to be suspended for the time being. Homicide by child abuse or neglect is defined as anyone who causes the death of a child under the age of 11 while committing child abuse or neglect, and the death occurs under circumstances manifesting an extreme indifference to human life, and that is according to South Carolina laws. Not my words. Hashtag not my words. A person can also be charged with homicide by child abuse if someone knowingly aids and abets another person to commit child abuse or neglect, and the child abuse or neglect results in the death of a child under the age of 11, state law shows. And if convicted, both of these jackasses could get life in prison. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and let me let you see the one video that was in the news about this. It was one video. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
India was located deceased and stuffed inside a closed drawer within a closed dresser in Mullen and Williams' bedroom. Officers observed obvious signs of blunt force trauma to India's body, as well as signs of respiratory distress. Detectives were able to recover evidence that shows Mullen and Williams were complicit in India's murder. On Tuesday, May 26, 2020, officers with the Rock Hill Police Department and deputies with the York County Sheriff's Office conducted an investigation into the welfare of India Martin, a 4-year-old juvenile with special needs who is also physically handicapped. During the course of the investigation, detectives questioned Jacqueline Mullen, who is India's mother, about her whereabouts. Mullen initially stated that India was with family members in North Carolina. However, officers were able to make contact with those family members who confirmed India was not with them at the time. Mullen showed no emotion when confronted with this information and continued to insist India was in North Carolina.
You caused the death of a child under the age of 11 while committing child abuse or neglect, and knowingly aided and abetted another person who committed child abuse or neglect, and the child abuse or neglect resulted in the death of the child. The warrant says that you, the defendant, are the mother of the victim, Anita Martin, and that you lived with her at the time of the homicide, and that you were responsible for her care. Today, you will not have a bond. Your bond is denied, which means you're staying in jail, and you will be sent to the Moss Justice Center in York, and you will be sitting in the York County Detention Center.
Y'all heard that. Bond denied. Shout out to the judge.
and you will be sent to the Moss Justice Center in York, and you will be sitting in the York County Detention Center. You caused the death of a child under the age of 11 while committing child abuse or neglect, or you knowingly aided and abetted another person who committed child abuse or neglect, and the child abuse or neglect resulted in the death of the child who was under the age of 11. The warrant says that you are the boyfriend of the victim's mother, that the victim, India Martin, lived with you at the time of the homicide, and that you were responsible for her care.
Let's put this into proper perspective. The mother, again, in 2014, has a conviction for larceny. Then, in 2016, she tested positive for cocaine while she was pregnant. She must have been using, because she ended up giving birth to a premature baby that tested positive for cocaine in 2016. And she pled guilty in 2017 to felony child neglect because of that. And she got probation. For her being guilty of forgery, she got probation. For her conviction for larceny, she didn't get any jail time at all. Then, on top of all of the chances that they gave this mother, they let her keep her special needs child, and the child ended up having these birth defects because of her doing cocaine. So how is it that the mother can create this thing out of selfishness and hate because she was thinking about her own pleasures and harmed her child, and you gonna allow her to be a mother anyway? How does that even happen? How do you even get to keep your kids after something like this happens, especially when you have so much damning information against her? And not only that, the boyfriend is of no help either. He's a terrible person also. He's a terrible father, and he's a terrible person to have around this special needs kid, because clearly he didn't care about this kid at all. To know that this stuff was going on and you just ignore it and allow it to happen to me, you are just as guilty, and I hope they both get life in prison. These children deserve better, especially this 4-year-old girl. Let's put some respect on her name. India Martin, who was age 4 years old, could not speak for herself, could not defend herself, could not take care of herself, and especially suffered at the hands of her caretakers. For that, they don't deserve jail. They deserve hell. Send them to hell. Don't even send them to jail. Why waste time, right? Get them out of here. To that innocent soul, India Martin, 4 years old, I hope that baby girl will rest in peace in heaven. She deserves a special place, because what she was given, she was doomed from the moment that she was born, and she deserved so much better. Okay? I'd like to thank you guys so much for listening to this stream. I want to apologize to everybody about the technical difficulties. Those are things that were not in my control, but I thank you guys for sticking it out, and I do have a lot more content coming that I'm going to upload all weekend long and all week long, okay? So we're going to try to advocate for as many of these children as possible. We're going to give them a voice, and if we can't go out and riot and protest in the streets, then we're going to use the internet as our platform to be able to protest against these type of murderers, against these children, okay? My allergies are acting up because I am allergic to bullshit, okay? We're going to use this platform, and we're going to continue to advocate and protest against these bad parents. And I hope that they get everything that's coming to them. All right. This is your boy, DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. From my heart to yours, I love you, and thank you guys so much for supporting. And that's where we're going to cut this particular stream.